In this video I'm going to show you how to replace the instrument lights in your BMW Airhead speedometer cluster and replace them with brighter LED bulbs. This will only be the lights for the speedometer and the tachometer. I'm not going to mess with the other lights as those are fairly bright as they are. So this has already been pulled from the bike, but to remove this from your bike you first have to undo the 3 bolts on the bottom and then take off the speedometer cable and the tachometer cable, and then you can pull it free from the bike after disconnecting the electrical connector on the back. The electrical connector will be the last thing that you remove, as you have to take the other things off first. So we've already taken this one apart, but we kind of assembled it again so that we can show you how to do it. There's 3 screws that hold on this back cover. Once you have those off, you can lift the back cover off. From there, you'll need to take off the plate that will unveil the electrical connectors and lights. And we've already taken those screws out. There's about 6 screws around the perimeter of this piece here that comes down, over, and around. You don't want to mess with these other screws that actually hold in the tachometer and speedometer cluster itself. Just this sort of bat-winged piece in the center. So those screws have already been removed and we can pull that up out. And then you see inside here, these are all the housings for the bulbs in the instrument cluster and the column of warning lights. These 2 bulbs on the outside of these wings are the bulbs that we are going to be replacing. And to get those out, you just kind of push them to one side, but you want to be very, very careful because this plastic ribbon that goes around the whole board is very fragile, and they're kind of famous for breaking and coming undone. But if you work this bulb out, you can see that this one's already been replaced with an LED bulb. I bought this pack of bulbs from the store that is a $194W LED. That's what size of bulbs these are, or the model number for these bulbs, I suppose. And it comes in a 2-pack. And they fit right in place of the old one. The old one looks like that, and these newer ones. So you want to take and put this back in the hole. Work it from one side to the other until you have a good secure fit in there. And if you replace both of them, then you can reassemble it. I don't know much about this, but I've heard that these lights down the center switching to LED bulbs may foul up, or they may just not work. I'm not sure, but I just figured I wouldn't mess with those. I'm not concerned about that anyways. Those bulbs don't bother me. They're plenty bright. I don't ever have a problem seeing the neutral light, the oil light, any of those lights, the high beam light, they all seem to work just fine. It's the speedometer and the tachometer bulbs that have always bothered me and been real dim. So those are the only ones I'm worried about anyways, and I think we can replace those without any problem, any effect to the rest of the electrical system. So you can swap both of those bulbs out, your old bulbs with these LED bulbs. You don't have to get this kind, but this is the kind I just saw at the store. then you can reassemble. You can reassemble the speedometer and cluster and put it back on your bike. And once you have the instrument cluster plugged back in, you can test it out. This is what it looks like with the LED bulbs. The speedometer side is really bright. The tachometer side isn't as bright, it seems, but it's still brighter than it was with the old bulbs. So there's the new LED bulbs installed in there. It makes it look fantastic. I will note that the LED bulbs are, I don't know exactly what the terminology is, but directional, or if you put them in and either one or both don't work, flip them around the other way and plug them back in, and that should cause them to work. When I put these in the first time, one worked and one didn't. I flipped the LED bulb around and then they both worked. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. But very simple upgrade. Like I said, the center lights on mine are plenty bright. I don't see a need to pay all the extra money to get those to be LED bulbs, but it's really the speedometer and tachometer bulbs that really bothered me. But as you can see, they come out really good. So give it a try. Thanks a lot.